Good morning, everybody. Beautiful day on the trail. We got Sam over here cooking his coffee on the stoves. Chase already ate breakfast. How did everybody sleep last night?
Terrific. It's a little chilly.
Yeah, so it got down into the low 50s. I don't know exactly what temperature it is right this second. The G-Shock was in my sleeping bag, so it has not adjusted to the temperature out here yet, but I got 65.8 degrees, and that is steadily climbing down. Found a nice little flat spot right here. Did make it to the Tray Mountain shelter. We'll walk down that way. Alright, so following the blue blazes just off the AT now, it's about a 5-minute walk or so off the trail to get to Tray Mountain Shelter, and that's what we're coming up on now. Give you a sneak peek at kind of this shelter. These shelters are really nice. There's a couple of them scattered along the AT in Georgia. Good places to stay at. They almost always have some convenient stuff here, whether it be a privy like we showed over there, or a nice fireplace like here, and we also have some water access just behind the shelter. Coming into the shelter, it looks like the shelter sits pretty high up off the ground. Big step coming in. It looks like we have 3 walls, no doors, no windows, just nice big opening. It looks like we have a shelter log. Alright, these are always cool. You can find these in almost every shelter. Hikers can log. So let's see kind of the history lately. Got some September 8th, September 9th, September 13th, and September 19th. Stopped for water and breakfast on a section hike from Springer to Deep Gap parking lot, North Carolina. Cool, 920. So there's been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hikers here since September 8th that have called this shelter home for the night. We have some emergency contact information, some convenient small little brooms to sweep the shelter out. Again, leave no trace, and then a diagram telling you about hanging your bear bags. We are in bear country, so you must hang your bags. It looks like we are right. Okay, this is actually Girard to Neal's Gap is what it's showing us right now. We got Blood Mountain Shelter. We've stayed there before. Really gorgeous place to stay. This is a little bit south of us right now. We're north. Neal's Gap is the farthest north on this mountain, it looks like. And we are more north of that. So this map is not exactly where we are at the moment. And if you come over here, it looks like Chase is already setting this up for you. This system right here, so that you don't have to bring paracord. Here is where we hang the bear bags. Again, we are in bear country, so you need to be hanging up your packs. Don't want the bears to come mess with you, and you probably don't want to mess with the bears either. So it looks like we have a carabiner left on here. Pretty nice, just run it through the strap of your pack. Only have to hang your food, anything that smells. We lift it up high enough and far enough away from the trunk of the tree that a bear can't climb and reach out, or the bear can't stand on 2 legs and reach. After that, Chase is coming over here and he's gonna set his anchor. And that is how you hang a bear bag. Alright, so right here at the front of Tray Mountain Shelter, a few benches, and right here's where we hung the bear bags. Down this trail of blue blaze still right here on this tree will be water. Chase went down there and scoped that out for you.
Yeah, so it's about a 2 or 3 minute walk down this trail. It does get pretty steep near the bottom, so I would recommend if you're going to stay here, just go ahead and get your gear and get your water. The things you need to get watering, go down there. Once you get down there, it is actually a pipe threaded into the mountain that's picking up from a natural spring. The natural spring is super slow flowing, so you will be down there for a few minutes trying to get water, especially if there's a lot of people. It's going to take a lot longer.
Alright, our campsite's right here. You can just see Sam's hammock. Here's Tray Mountain Shelter, and here's the privy that is on site. All a privy is an outhouse on the trail. Not many shelter spots or places on the AT have one of these, so if you do find one of these, you are super lucky. check it out. This is the outhouse. Got some signs here: no food, packaging, soiled clothes, wipes, feminine products, a little broom to sweep the mess out of here. Alright, we're just now departing Trey Mountain Shelter, leaving behind these amazing views, headed north. Hopefully more views, more adventures, more cool places. Heading towards Dix Creek Gap. Alright, so we're about, I would say, a little less than an hour in hiking north from Trey Mountain Shelter. We just hit our first water sign. This one actually isn't on our map, so we don't know how far you will go, but we're gonna hang this right and find out and see what kind of water source we got down here. These water signs are pretty convenient on the AT. Not every water access point is gonna have a sign. However, there should be some every so often, and then sometimes you cross right across a spring on the trail, so then you can fill up there. However, we've ran into, what would you say, Chase, maybe 3 to 4? Yeah, three to four places to get water. However, 2 of those were completely dried up, and Chase said the last spring he went to was just barely flowing. So over this probably 7 to 8 miles we've done so far, not the best places to get water and fill up so far. All right, so this is not much more than a trickle of a water source here in a big drought on the trail. However, Chase is going to demonstrate how to get this water to a harvestable kind of source. And all you have to do is really dig out a dam, and that's what Chase is going to start to do. He's digging out kind of a deeper hole for this water to fill up. Right? These bottles we fill up with water to purify out of, they need a deep hole to come down into, or a good flow to fill them up. You see Chase is moving debris out of the way now, digging this hole deeper. As you dig that hole too, you don't want to fill up right after you dig the hole, because there's going to be a lot of that sediment in there. It's going to be dirty water. So then Chase is going to let that sit for a minute, calm down, flush out, and then we're going to fill up water here. We've dug a little bit of a hole and the sediment is flushed out. Chase is going to start to dam it up with rocks so that this continues to get deeper. As we have that little flow, you can see the water level already starting to rise a little bit. That way we're turning stuff like this trickle here, into a source of water that we can actually get use out of. And again, this pool just getting deeper and deeper now, starting to look really good. All right, now that we have this in place, you can see our dam is starting to run off these rocks. As Chase lifts that little rock right in front of the nozzle, it'll create more flow and really start to fill up that bag. Right here. Check it out. And looky there.
Got a half bag?
Yeah. And that's how you get a considerable amount of water from a tiny, barely flowing little spring. All right, so that's a pretty steep descent down there to get water. We just made it back to the trail. You're looking at about 10-minute detour, maybe a little bit more, just getting there and back on top of the time it takes to fill up water. Like I said, it's pretty steep, not a great water source, probably not the best idea unless you really need the water. All right, we're stopping for lunch. Finally hit a flat point in the trail here. Looks like Chase is about to put on some ramen. Sam rocking some buffalo tuna and tortillas. Can't bring bread out here, it gets squished in your pack, so bring tortillas. And I'm running the lunch to goes, the tuna salads. Should be an awesome place. We will talk about good lunch and power foods to bring on the trail with you, because a lot of stuff is limited. It's hard to make sandwiches, and you get really tired of just eating like protein bars all the time. So ways to make real food out here, and ways to do it fast and efficient. All right, still heading northbound. We are just now exiting out of Trey Mountain Wilderness. We just stopped and had lunch. Still lots of inclines this section of the trail. Not many flat spots like we are right here. So be prepared for lots of uphill, lots of downhill, lots of climbing, huge elevation changes the whole way. Most of our views were in the first half coming up to Trey Mountain. After Trey Mountain, we haven't got many views yet, but still heading Nobo all the way to Dix Creek Gap. Keep you posted along the way. All right, we are back up to 4,100 foot. We descended there for a while, and then we just did a long, steep climb. To our best estimates, about 900 foot climb, and we are definitely stopping for a quick breather after that. That was strenuous. Coming up on the point here, we do have some pretty good views. Check it out. Don't see many mountains out there that are as high as we are. All right, after that vicious climb, I'm gonna finish the last of this energy tea. These little packets are cool. Nalgene bottles are awesome because they have milliliters and ounces, so it's really easy to know your measurements for making drinks like this. These little energy teas are super sweet. This is, I think, mango peach, and it has a ton of caffeine in it. Gets you going. I'm a caffeine addict, so it is a staple for people like me on the trail. So we have made it to Deep Gap. This looks like the Deep Gap shelter with the water. We're gonna take this side trail and see what we got. It has been a long time coming. However, once we finished that ferocious climb there at the top, it was all downhill from there, coming into this deep gap, as the name implies. All right, Chase just updated me. We're 12.7 miles away, 12.7 miles north from Unicoi. Okay, so we had 16.7 total, so that leaves us with 4 miles remaining in our trip. We're averaging about 2 miles per hour, so probably about 2 hours left in our hike here north from Unicoi to Dix Creek Gap. I know we're going to be really, really close to that North Carolina line. We've hiked a good little portion of the AT right here in Georgia. It has been an awesome hike, awesome views. We're going to check this shelter out. Also a water source. I know we're all running pretty low on water. Hopefully this one will be a good one. We can all get cameled up. All right, so about 3 minutes in, headed down this blue blaze. You're going to hit one of these signs so graciously guiding you to water up this nice steep hill. We're gonna dig on this way and look for that shelter while the boys fill up with some water. All right, coming up on Deep Gap Shelter. Looks like right over here we have a food storage, like a lockbox. All right, again in bear country. Coming up, we have a picnic table. Okay, this is a rare find on the AT. Looks like some lantern hangers here. And coming into air for information. Emergency contacts. We got our elevation, bear box, and again a reminder to hang your food. Are in bear country over here. Our brooms to keep the shelter clean, and it looks like some trail magic. So water filters, a mess kit. This for cooking. Open this. I assume there's a kettle. Yep, a kettle. Awesome. So people leaving these stuff for hikers' convenience. Super awesome. Got a fire pit, some firewood, and a grill here. Opening up this box, I assume, yep, a trail log. Also some ibuprofen. Check this out. This is a necessity when the knees start hurting from all these descents and a headache from dehydration. Looks like we got some soap and some deodorant. I'm sure everyone's not rubbing that on their arms. And yep, there's a knife. So probably cutting slices of soap, just like this. Yep. So cutting a piece, using a piece, a lighter, another pen. Super convenient, very awesome of them to leave all this stuff for us. We will definitely be logging our trip in this shelter log. Closing this. These shelters are really cool places to camp. You don't find them often. We've hit 2 on this trip though. But even if you don't stay inside the shelter, you are definitely going to find a nice flat place to camp around the shelter. It looks like we have a big open space here. Some pack hangers on the wall and a ladder coming up. Could it be? Yes, we have bunk beds up here. Super awesome. Not many two-story shelters. This is probably the nicest shelter we have found on the AT so far. This is really cool. Looks like a baggie here with okay, all right. Another broom. This is a really cool place to set up camp. It's only about 5 minutes off the AT, so I would definitely recommend hunkering down here one night. This is super cool. All right, update with this water source. Again,
That leaf right there.
yeah, so looks like they set down a rock with a leaf to try and get a trickle out of this. Tiny springs. Again, water is kind of scarce right now. See Chase trying to dig out some more. Trying to fill up the water bag so we can filter it out. Running low on the water. We are now descending into what we believe is Dix Creek Gap. About, to the best of our knowledge, about 1,000-foot descent, somewhere roughly in there. I think we have about 250 to 300 foot left. Long downhill slope, a little bit rough on the knees, so trekking poles would be nice. If you're coming Sobo from Dix Creek Gap headed to Unicoi, this is going to be a tough hill to climb up. But either way, I think going downhill is a little bit worse just because of the knees. All right, it is 3:25. We have just made it to Dix Creek Gap. It has been a long time coming. 16.7 miles, close to 12,000 feet elevation change. Ascending and descending. I know our knees are feeling it. We can now hear cars on the road getting super close now. It has been a totally awesome trip. Saw lots of cool things. However, didn't see any wildlife, so that was kind of a surprise, especially we're kind of in a really high bear area right here. Last time me and Chase were on this side of the trail, saw 5 bears. Didn't see any bears this trip, didn't see any deer, but the weather was gorgeous and we got some cool views.